Squire Games has announced a brand new strategy RPG for the 3DS in 2022, getting a physical release as well as a collector's edition. Let's talk about it. Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Botox Media. Today, we're going to be talking about some breaking news. This was just announced a couple of hours ago, and I wanted to get a video out as soon as possible because this is really interesting. There is another 3DS game getting a physical release that I'm going to make a separate video on, probably tomorrow or the next day. But this is breaking news, and I wanted to talk about it. This is a game called Fragrant from Squire Games, being developed by William Kage. I've never heard of this developer. It looks like he does a lot of fan stuff if you go to the website. This is a brand new strategy or tactical RPG with some serious talent behind it. Hitoshi Sakimoto, a name I had not heard of, is composing this game. And if you go to, if you Google him, he has done a lot of stuff. He recently did 13 Sentinels. He did Vagrant, which is funny because this is called Fragrant. They're not connected. So some serious cred behind this game. It looks really good. Really good pixel art. There's voice acting, and it came out of nowhere. I'm looking at the website here, the Gateway VR Cafe. Your team is made up of kids from the world of Odo-san, which is another game I believe Squire Games made, who play Fragrant Story at the VR Cafe, their local arcade. Your abilities will depend on which kids put on VR headsets and join the world. So kind of an isekai, I guess. Arriving at Flower Guard, upon joining the world, you'll spawn in the peaceful kingdom of Flower Guard, and then you must make a solemn promise to protect and appreciate all the plants you once took for granted. Yes, you must even bow your head to the humble weeds and thorns. Only then will you truly begin to blossom. And then they have like a character bio page with it looks like these characters are named after plants and stuff. Kind of. There's rhubarb, you got mango, you got Wolfsbane, the wolf character. And then, of course, the team page going through the developers. Somewhere on the website, I forget where it was. Yeah, it says non-profit. I don't know how accurate that is, considering this is a game getting a physical release as well as digital release. And you can pre-order it right now. I already pre-ordered the game. There is a regular version, which comes with a CD, as well as a collector's edition, which comes with, let me actually look at what this comes with here. But actually, yeah, let's go more in depth on each of these special editions. So the standard edition, this is the base version. For $35, this is what I pre-ordered. I might end up upgrading to the other versions. Comes with a soundtrack CD. Of course, with the soundtrack being done by Hitoshi Sakimoto, this is probably going to be a pretty valuable soundtrack by itself. This guy has done a lot of really great stuff. We're going to get more into what he's done in a bit. I want to go through and really paint the picture of how esteemed this composer is. But with the base version, you get that and a CD, and then you get a big box 3DS game, which is always cool for a collector to have. Now let's get into the bigger collector's edition and really kind of go through it and analyze what comes with this thing. I had to actually open the image and zoom in because the picture is so small, but it comes with the base game in that big box, it looks like. So if you want to have that big box, you don't need to get both versions. As well as interesting on the box, it looks like, well, first of all, it looks like Final Fantasy Tactics A2 as the art. Like, that's clearly Final Fantasy Tactics A2. But in the top right, it has like the Super Famicom logo, which is funny. I think that's what that is. But you get the 3DS game, you get the CD, you get a keychain of one of the characters, you get tarot cards, as well as star pins, a poster from the game, a air freshener. That's an interesting item for a 3DS special edition or any special edition, and as well as a art book. So this is a pretty meaty special edition for $70. And then, of course, like I mentioned, for $120, you get a copy signed by the team. Now, if I look more into this game, I might honestly consider getting that also. This is really cool. This is something that I was not expecting to come out at this time, this late into the 3DS's life. Like I mentioned earlier, there is another 3DS game coming out physically this year. I'm going to do a video on that game. This is soon. Release date April 21st. I was a little bit mistaken there. Not 18th. April 21st. I just wonder if that's when this is going to ship. Like, are these copies already in hand? If so, that's awesome. We don't know how limited it is. It does say limited game. We just don't know how many copies. So hopefully it's not too limited. I know a lot of people watching this video are probably going to want to buy it because most of my viewers are 3DS collectors. So keep that in mind. If you want to get this game, I would probably go ahead and order it as soon as possible because it will probably sell out pretty fast is my guess, depending, of course, on how many copies they have. But let's read more about the game. So, I already talked about the VR Cafe. Their team is made up of kids from Odo-san, another game from Squire Games. Then you have arcade tokens. You get tokens based on the difficulty setting, which allows you to build a bigger team. You can strategize, enjoy fresh new tactical gameplay inspired by the classics, obviously inspired by Final Fantasy Tactics. Build a different team of fierce floristas each time you play. Interesting. Timed hits. This is something you can see in the trailer. It says Stop the wheel with precision and score a critical hit. So critical hits aren't completely randomized. You have like a little bit of strategy and involvement there, which is cool. Level up, of course, you level up, and you can use extra tokens to level up characters. A lot of dialogue. This is a funny tagline. Dialogue that would make your dad proud. That's good. Challenge mode. Try your hand at some truly epic challenges. Collect tickets, save up tickets to unlock new gear and options, and then legendary music, which I think is really one of the main features of this game, is the soundtrack by Hitoshi Sakimoto. Which, speaking of, let's go look at some of what the games he's done, because this is crazy to me. So I'm on his Wikipedia page. I'm just going to run through a couple of these that stand out. He did Gauntlets, Bad Omen, Super Back to the Future, Ogre Battle, and then at some point here, I guess he started working for Square Enix. He did Ogre Battle 64, Radiant Silvergun. He did Final Fantasy Tactics. That's insane. With Masaharu Iwata, of course. Vagrant Story, like I mentioned. Legaia, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, Gradius 5, Stella Deuce, Bleach, Heat the Soul, Digimon, Battle Stadium DON, Final Fantasy 12 with a couple of other composers, of course. Final Fantasy Tactics A12 as the logo is very inspired there. Odin Sphere, Muramasa the Demon Blade, Tekken 6 with several others. The Dempa Men, that's a 3DS deep cut right there. Crimson Shroud, Dragon's Crown. This man has done a lot. The World End Eclipse, I haven't heard of that game. Valkyria Chronicles 4, Final Fantasy 12, The Zodiac Age, and most prominent recently is 13 Sentinels. He also did Astria Ascending, which I've heard was a pretty good game. This guy has done a lot of very, very famous work. So to see him working on this indie game that has come out of nowhere is insane. This is a non-profit website, apparently. I believe the creator has a Patreon, but even still, this is insane to me. So keep an eye out for Fragrant Story, a new 16-bit tactical adventure coming out evidently next month. We'll see how well that goes through. If I can get a review code for this game, I absolutely will be playing through it and reviewing it and giving you guys the full scoop on if this game is worth it. But from an initial reaction, if you like tactical RPGs, this seems like a must-buy. And if you're collecting for 3DS, this also definitely seems like a must-buy. Also, I'm seeing on the fact sheet in the press kit right now, digitally the game is $4, so a very cheap game. Hopefully it has some length to it, but if not, understandable. One of the final 3DS games, very cool regardless. So let me know your thoughts on this new game down in the comments below. I am very excited about Fragrant Story. This is one of my most anticipated releases now because of all the 3DS content I've been making with you guys. So let me know what you think down below. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at BoTalksMedia. Subscribe here for more 3DS content it seems like every day there's something new somehow with 3DS. So keep that in mind. Subscribe for more 3DS content. Of course, join my Discord. We had a lot of people talking about this game in the Discord when I found it. So check out the Discord. And until next time, guys, bye-bye.